This is a revision video for 8E burning fuels. And the big question here is, what is formed when a fuel reacts with oxygen? A fuel, then, what is it? It's a chemical substance for which stored energy can be transferred usefully to make things happen. Hydrogen, for example, is a gas which can be used as a fuel. Most hydrogen-powered vehicles use fuel cells in which the energy released from hydrogen is carefully controlled and it reacts with the oxygen. So here's an example of a hydrogen fuel cell which has been fitted to a bus. They're trying this with cars, they're trying this with trains and lorries and using hydrogen. The big advantage here is the only product produced here is water, which is good for the environment. The hydrogen then releases energy as electricity, and that gets fed to the motors, and that makes the bus move. We can use this reaction of the hydrogen fuel cell in our bus to produce a word equation, and there it is. Hydrogen plus oxygen makes water. Hydrogen and oxygen are your reactants, they're the chemicals you start with, they go on the left-hand side. Water's the product, it's the chemical you end up with, and that goes on the right-hand side. The word energy doesn't appear because it is not a chemical. Now, hydrogen isn't all that great. I mean, in 1937 here, a huge balloon called an airship burst into flames, killing 35 of the 97 people on board because hydrogen is very, very explosive. But for that matter, so is petrol. Hydrogen combustion. Combustion does not happen in fuel cells, but hydrogen does also combust with oxygen. For this to happen, energy from a spark or from a flame is needed to start a reaction. The reaction then continues without needing any further input of energy. We call it a chain reaction when this happens. Instead, the energy is released and transferred to the surroundings, usually as heat energy and some light energy. Some of the energy transferred by heating, which we feel, some is transferred by light, it says there, which we see. The reaction is very vigorous. We may even hear the transfer of the energy by sound. You may have heard an explosion or two in your time. The reaction then continues until one or other of the reactants is used up. And here's an example of a vehicle which uses fuel. This is a steam-powered carriage. So the fireman at the front here is feeding coal into the boiler, and that enables the heat to be produced when it reacts with the oxygen. And that makes the heat energy then makes the vehicle move forward. Most fuels used in car engines also transfer energy during combustion reactions with oxygen. Petrol and diesel are fossil fuels because they are produced from oil that was formed from living organisms that died millions of years ago. Petrol and diesel are also hydrocarbons because the molecules only contain carbon and hydrogen only. During combustion, the carbon and hydrogen atoms react with oxygen. The carbon reacts to produce carbon dioxide. We identified the products of combustion of a hydrocarbon using the tests shown in the next couple of photos. Here they come. So the test for carbon dioxide is when you bubble it through lime water, the lime water forms a white solid, and we call that white solid a precipitate. Sometimes you might say it goes cloudy. So the test for carbon dioxide, you bubble the gas through lime water and it goes cloudy. Test for water, use a chemical called cobalt chloride paper. Cobalt chloride paper is blue when there's no water present, and it goes pink when water is present. Another test for water is it boils at 100 degrees C. So, at the end of this video, you should be able to describe what happens when you react hydrogen with oxygen to make water, when hydrocarbons react with oxygen to make carbon dioxide of water. And you should have seen some word equations which explain both of these reactions.